United States weighs on the climate change because right now United States says no, it's not true. What do you think about that?
No, I think the most important thing, and I think that's a wonderful question because that's an example that we hear about and see and listen to in the news all the time. But I think what is really important, and we'll be talking about here in the forum as well, is the importance of subnational initiatives. So if you look at state level action, there are some wonderful examples of leadership at the state level in the United States. If you take the state of California, you take the state of New York, or you take the state of Seattle, there are a number of examples where we have leadership at the state level that they're doing a lot to build up subnational initiatives, and that's really what we're hoping for, certainly in the US, but we're hoping for, like Durango is a wonderful example of subnational initiatives that make a difference toward achieving national goals. Because the situation is now so large that it's really hard to put down to any one group like the federal government is going to now solve this problem. Really, we need top down and we need bottom up. So really what we need to do is we need to focus on leadership at the state level, just like we are here right now in the United States, where we build much more of this, and then we'll be able to address the issue. But if we don't do that, it's going to be really hard.
Do you think that this kind of the forum is going to build the new foundation to go the new steps to get the goal?
Absolutely. We really believe in it. We believe that we have to be positive, that we have to be innovative, we have to be creative, and we have to bring people together. And the forum will bring people. Literally, we have young people who are like the youngest people that we'll have here, like probably 15, 16 years old. And then we have people who are, the oldest would be close to 85 years old. We have everybody in between, and we have every single field. And I think the most important thing, and I think you brought it up, is that if we are able to bring people together in the way that we're going to here at the forum, and think about the action, get subnational. So what can you and I do as individuals in our homes and our communities, and what can businesses do in their work, and what can governments do at state level, and what can leaders like presidents, we have presidents and prime ministers from almost every continent coming. What can they do at a national level? What can they do at a global level? How can we come together to make a difference? So I think that this forum really offers that opportunity. And not only that, it's the promise. If we make that promise and we work with it to make it happen, we can. The most important thing is that we cannot lose time. And that's why we believe the importance of doing this, doing it urgently, is foremost. It's absolutely foremost.
What do you expect from Durango?
From Durango, I think there's so much. I can't stop talking about how much we've been so blessed to receive. I think the most important is the leadership of this state. What they're doing and what their intention and commitment is to make a difference environmentally in this state, to protect the forests, to clean the water, to make sure that people have the quality of life that they need to have. But at the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to, because when we wreck our environment like we have been, it's you and I who are going to suffer, right? And that's the most important thing. And so I think the commitment that the government brings is very, very important to making this happen in the first place. Bringing together a global forum where we have presidents, prime ministers, young people, scientists, academics, everybody from every sphere, almost from every continent in the world, coming together. I think the most important thing is to think of how we can go forward. And I believe really strongly that the government of Durango is really committed to make that happen, and we're already working with universities. We're working with young people from the universities over here. So we're starting to affect communities. the moment you start working with young people, one of the most important things that, you know, if you have children or grandchildren, or even, you know, siblings who have children, what happens is that when you go to school and you learn something, or when you learn something as a young person, you tell your father or your mother, or your uncle or your you know, grandparents, and then your neighbors and their parents, that they need to do it differently. Why do we have lights on when we have daylight? Why do we need to waste electricity? Why should we be drinking water out of plastic bottles and throwing them when we can just drink out of, you know, something of an installation of water, and so many other things, you know, trash, garbage, waste, electricity, energy, water. There's so many things we can keep going on. And I think that the government of Durango has got a very strong commitment to really make that difference, and we are hoping that we can work together, and that's really the promise we're coming.